Hey, what's up, family? It's your boy, Damien, coming for the second week to talk about some leadership principles that I used to really help me to ebb and flow through my early years of higher education, and how I became a dean by the age of 30 and a vice president by the age of 35. And last week we talked about character and integrity and knowledge. And today I want to just talk a little bit more about my story, go a little bit deeper, if you would. Because last week I kind of scraped the surface, and because you have to know context, you have to know story before you want somebody else's glory. That oftentimes we see what someone has accomplished, but you never know what that person has had to go through to get to where they are. So grew up in Dallas, single parent home. Father in and out of jail, and was a gifted, talented student. My mother did the best she could with raising me. My sister was 10 years older, so my grandmother was taking care of her. My mother had her by the time she was 13. She had my sister, and so she really couldn't take care of her, so my grandmother raised her. And so it was just my mother and I. Was a mama's boy. Grew up in the hood in Highland Hills in Dallas, and we had a great childhood. With family around, and all of us kind of live in the same vicinity, growing up playing Pop Warner ball and summer track, and God was good to us. We were poor. No, I'll take that back. We were poor. There's a difference between being poor and poor, and just ask somebody who's been there. They'll tell you the definition between the two. But my mother did the very best she could, and by the time I got to junior high, God was really blessing me, but I was just at a point to where I could have gone either way. Grew up in the church and all of those things. So a lot of my friends started getting caught up in drugs and alcohol and all these things. And by the time I was 14, I had a moral failure. Had a child, my oldest daughter, that's 26. She's beautiful and doing well, but it's part of my story is I was a product of my community. Had my mother, had my mother had my sister by the time she was 13. My sister had her first child by the time she was 18. I had mine by the time I was 14. And but listen, that's a part of the story. That's my reality. So by the time I got ninth grade, mother was on drugs, and in junior high, there were two men who kind of took the place of my father. There's Dr. Ronald Jones and Coach Walton, and I smile every time I say those names because both of them mean the world to me. Coach Walton was my junior high coach, and really helped solidify my walk with Christ through Fellowship of Christian Athletes. And Dr. Jones was the father of my best friend, Daryl. So he kind of really taught me what it was to be a man. And so, but the two of them became one father figure for me, if you would. But for each one, tenacity, don't quit, do your thing. That's Coach Walton. That's that tough love. And then Dad Jones gave me that pastoral love that I need. He was the assistant pastor at what is now the church that I now pastor, New Hope Baptist Church, oldest black church here in the city of Dallas. So we've come full circle with all of this, but you see this, and you say, well, how did all of that play into you get into higher education and all of those things? And so last week I talked a little bit about my story. Go back and watch that video if you have not. But this week, I just want to give you context of where I'm from and the things that I have actually had to deal with, and how I was able to take principles that I learned as a 13-year-old to really help me navigate through high school, college football, getting my education, moving into higher education, and pastoring simultaneously for several years as a tent maker, to now only just being only vocational as a senior pastor. But we talked about character, integrity, and knowledge last week, but today I want to talk to you and give you some more principles as it relates to how to get to that next level. And number one is, as I touched on a little bit last week, but it's mentorship. You've got to find some people who has been on the road longer than you, who've been on the road longer than you, who know more than you, who are in a position that you aspire to be, a president, a vice president, a director, a dean, whatever your field is, and you lock hold to them. You don't let them go. You literally follow them everywhere they go, with their permission, of course. But I had that, and I still have that. I've got mentors in ministry, and I have mentors in life and higher ed life who have become friends, who have become like fathers, who have become big brothers, and you hold on to them, and they just pour into you when they know that you're authentic, when they know that you have some character, some knowledge, and some integrity about yourself. They'll give you the world. Because the reality is somebody did the same thing for them. One of the things that really helped me was this phrase that I live by. You can make excuses or you can make progress, but you cannot make both. And every time I came to a point in my journey that I wanted to quit, that phrase always rang loud in my head. Damien, you can make excuses or you can make progress, but you cannot make both. Think about it. Think about it. So, one principle I'll give you today is simply, other than mentorship, find you a great mentor, is not quitting. Do not quit. Trust me, there are going to be circumstances that come upon you. There are going to be times that you want to quit, that you want to give in, that you want to give out, that you want to throw in the white towel of surrender, but you cannot quit. Here's another one. Not only don't quit, and because if you quit, it becomes a habit. If you quit, you'll quit boards, you'll quit meetings, you'll find new jobs every time it gets hard. Your relationships will be jacked up. Your rearing and raising of children, if you're there, will be messed up if you quit. Quitting becomes a habit. I learned that at 13 years old. Don't be a quitter. Hang in there. Tough it out. Cry if you have to. Shout if you have to. And dust yourself off and get on back in the fight. Because winners never quit. And quitters never win. Coach Walden taught me something as a 13-year-old, not just mentorship and not just having that dog, that tenacity to never quit. But here it is. I want to conclude this video with this. Don't let it be said that it was you that didn't get the job done. Can people rely on you? Can you be trusted? Can you be the one that when it's 4th down and 1 on the 1 yard line that the team says, hey, give the ball to them. They have what it takes. We can trust them. We can believe in them. Is that you? Is that you? Can you be trusted? But don't ever let it be said that it was you, friends, that didn't get the job done. I'm going to start dropping these videos probably twice a week because there's just so much content that I need to get out to you. But you got to have that dog. You got to have that fight, that it factor, that Kobe factor, that Jordan factor, that Shaq factor that the books can't teach you, that education can't teach you. It's you hanging in there when the going gets tough and when everybody else is tired. Can you be trusted? Can you be trusted when the going gets tough? Can the team depend on you? Find you some mentors. Get that tenacity and that don't quit. But then don't let it be said that it was you that didn't get the job done. And remember, you can make excuses or you can make progress, but you can't make both. Peace. See you next week.